What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming here. Welcome to episode number 2 of my team, and we're here today for the Australian Grand Prix. So, good race to always start the season out in Melbourne. Always a highly anticipated race to see which car's going to be the best in real life, and then ultimately it ends up being Mercedes. So, we'll see how it goes. This has always been a Mercedes track. It's suited the car. Vettel has stolen a couple of victories in the past, just due to some strategy and safety cars and all that. But anyway, I'm blabbering on here as it's a race that I look forward to, as it's the only race I'm able to go to every year. But anyway, moving on, we'll get into the weekend. Hopefully we have a car that can compete for some points. We're the 4th worst car on the grid, so with 11 cars, so we're about the 7th 11 teams with the 7th best car on the grid, so we'll see how that goes. And durability department has actually got a performance list down, which isn't cool to see. I didn't notice that until now, actually, so that's quite nice. As we move into the weekend, and we've done the practice and already, so we'll move into qualifying and see how the car, where its abilities is, as being the 7th best team with 3 teams below us. We should be able to get through to Q2. Both cars realistically should have a chance at getting into Q2, so hopefully we can do that today, as we're here for the first race of the year in Melbourne. So home Grand Prix for myself today, as we move now into Q1, and we're on our first fly lap as teammate Hubert's ahead, and we made a mistake coming out of turn 15, a little bit too much on the loud pedal, and lose a little bit of time coming down this straight now. As we come across the line, we're only 7th fastest for now, and that's now P19, and there is a threat of rain here in this qualifying session, so I'm out pretty early again to try and better my lap time here as we open the DRS, and we're coming across the line now, and we improve only to 18th place. We don't beat our teammate's time, so we're going to chuck a 3rd set of tyres on it. It's going to start raining within the next 5 minutes, so we're going to chuck this set of tyres at it, knowing if we get into Q2 we're likely going to be using intermediate tyres. So braking at that camera, 3rd gear corner. This year's game you can get away with the higher gears at lower speed corners, and it seems, and your car will still make the apex of a corner, which is good to see. 4th gear there, a little bit of a lock up at the front right, a little bit of a scrappy exit as well, so not a great run on the run to turn 9 and 10 now. Up to 8th gear, back to 4th, 3rd gear there, a little bit wide into the corner, a little bit too deep, and with the front right lock up. So now we're losing time all the way down this straight. It's coming to turn 11 and 12, great corner on this track, great sequence, and all the way onto that curb. And we're unfortunately not improving in our middle sector, so we're going to have a big last sector to out-qualify our teammate here in 17th place, as we're on the borderline of improvement coming into turn 15. Gonna get a great exit here, and we're all over the joint on the back end. We're fighting the car all the way now to the line. Can we get into Q2 here? Not quite, unfortunately. It's going to be 18th on the grid, which is a little bit disappointing that neither car was able to get through to Q2. Hubert qualifying in 17th place, so not a great start here to the Australian Grand Prix, but this is to be expected for a new team. It was probably asking a little bit much to get through to Q2, but we do out-qualify the Haas cars and the Williams cars in the order of Magnussen, Grosjean, Russell and Latifi. So the cars we were aiming to beat were the 2 Alphas, but with their Ferrari power unit, I know they seem to have maybe a little bit more of an advantage. So we'll move into the race now, and we'll see how it goes.
It's finally time once again to begin what promises to be another thrilling season of Formula One action. Pre-season times, subject of so much discussion in recent weeks, mean nothing now, as the cars line up to battle it out for points once again. So let's get this season underway. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. Can Mercedes start with victory in their bid to win a 7th consecutive Constructors' title? Could Ferrari or Red Bull establish an advantage early on? And with 22 cars on the grid, how quickly can the new team find their footing? Well, it's great to be back, Anthony Davidson. We've got a lot to talk about this year.
That's right, Crofty. It felt like a long winter, but it's good to finally be back. I have to think the usual suspects will battle it out at the front, but there are always going to be some teething problems early on in the season, so whoever can keep on top of their issues will have the advantage today.
As I mentioned earlier, we're up to 11 teams this season, with a new entry run by, well, of all things, an owner-driver. That's something we haven't seen in this sport since Hector Aback over 4 decades ago. So how are they looking so far?
Ever since their participation was announced, there were questions being asked about whether an outfit like this could survive, and certainly it's proving to be a trial by fire so far. Let's hope they can continue to draw in investment and find a little more pace as well.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Albon, Ricciardo, Ocon, Sainz and Sergio Perez, Norris, Stroll, Daniel Kvyat and Gasly, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Antoine Hubert, and the captain, Grosjean, Russell, Latifi, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
So, welcome everybody to the very first race of the season here at my home race, Albert Park, the Melbourne Grand Prix, and we'll see how it goes here, 18th on the grid today. Kevin Magnussen has a grid penalty, and that's still in the game. For the life of me, I won't know how he has a grid penalty at the first race of the season, when you've got at least, for some components, 3 parts, some others 2 parts for the whole season. Normally grid penalties don't get taken until like around 9-10. It's very hard to go through 2 parts in one race, but I guess he's done it, I don't know. But that's always been weird how they take grid penalties so early in the season. But anyway, that's a little gripe. That's still in the game. But we'll hopefully be able to have a good solid race, stay out of control in the opening. And that Mercedes power unit does sound lovely in the back of our Xeno racing car. We're locked out the 9th row of the grid. So we'll see what we can do here today. 5 red lights. The revs rise here at Albert Park. And let's go. It's green light. It's racing, and not a bad start by either driver. And we now have a look into turn 1. And can we get past our teammate? He's got the inside line through turn 2, and he holds position. Now we're getting attacked by the Haas, but we go late on the brakes. We get back past our teammate Hubert. We're now going side by side with Hubert. He's now got the inside for turn 4, but we hold the line around the outside, and we get 17th position off our teammate here, as we now have Giovinazzi ahead. And we can't make a move into turn 6. Will we be able to line him up through turn 8 and go down the inside into 9? No, he's just pulling away on the straight here, so that will not be happening this time around. And yeah, so I do like the new signage around Albert Park, just quite curiously. But Giovinazzi having a go at Kvyat there, but getting a bit sideways on entry into turn 11. That's not ideal for him, but he's having another go in that Ferrari power unit compared to the Honda, a much better power unit. But no way through this time for Giovinazzi, so he's going to have to sit behind Danny Kvyat. And can we have a look in the turn 15? We're going to have a little dive. No, not close enough, so we'll settle in behind the Italian driver as Lewis Hamilton leads here in Melbourne. And we're going to use overtake mode. We've got a great little run here, and with the Mercedes engine, we're going to go around the outside. But Giovinazzi later on the brakes into turn 1, and we're going to try and go the switch back, and he gets ahead once again. So we've got his slipstream, and he's going very defensive. So we're going to go right to the outside of the track, go later on the brakes than Giovinazzi into turn 3. We hold it round the outside. Now we have the inside for turn 4, and we go into 16th position. So good move there to get past Giovinazzi, as we now move to lap 7, and we are still behind Danny Kvyat, who's dropped off the pack ahead. We're just sitting in his DRS at the minute. We really can't, we haven't gotten close enough for an attack yet. Giovinazzi is just sitting in our DRS as well, and it's kind of just a stalemate. We're not getting any closer to overtaking Kvyat. Giovinazzi's not really had a look at us either, so... Oh, but here we go. This is a bit of action. Danny Kvyat's Honda engine has given up the ghost here, and I almost ran into him there. Just about avoided that. And so Kvyat going to be out of this Grand Prix now, so that's unfortunate for the Russian driver and AlphaTauri on their debut as a new team. Will be forced to retire, and he's now deployed a safety car. So safety car's out, and everybody's coming to the pit lane, and I mean everybody. So we're going to go onto the medium tyre. I believe it's going to be a bit touch and go, but I believe that can go to the end of the race here. So do about 20 laps on the mediums. It should be doable. So medium tyre, and you can see we've having to wait, but with all the stacking that's going on, we've actually come out in 12th place. We were in 15th, but 12th place now it is, so we've gained 3 spots, including over Valtteri Bottas, who's come out behind us. We've got Alex Albon ahead, so that's all very unfortunate for those guys. And yeah, we're going to take advantage of this situation, and everybody's coming out pretty much on the hard tyres. We're one of the only guys in the medium, so on debut here, we're in a good position here to maybe score some points. And we've got Pierre Gasly directly ahead of us as the safety car is in this lap. So we will see what we can do here on this restart. We've got to defend behind from Valtteri Bottas in that Mercedes car, which is the best car on the grid. So we'll see what he can do in a difficult spot for him in 13th place. It's going to be very hard for him to win the Grand Prix from that far back, but you know, anything is possible. So lap 10 in this Grand Prix, and we will set away a little lock up on the front right tyre there, but we got, looks like our teammate Hubert is actually ahead of us. I actually just saw him, so he might have stayed out during the first period, but anyway, we got a good run here on the opening lap of the safety car on Gasly with overtake mode. He's going to defend to the inside, we're going to go to the outside. He defends it well, but we've got a much better run through turns 1 and 2. Can we go around the outside of Pierre Gasly? He's going to defend to the inside, not as much as Giovinazzi did. We're going to go later on the brakes here, and we're going to get past. So we move into 11th spot here, and now we're chasing down Albon for 10th place. And I think actually Hubert did come in under the safety car. I think I was just seeing things before, because on the minimap, Mercedes is also blue as us, so very similar colour, so that could just be Lewis Hamilton ahead as well. But we're caught to the back of Albon here on end of lap 13, start of lap 14. We're sitting in his DRS. Bottas got through on Gasly, so we got him for company. And I've pressed team radio there instead of disabling overtake mode, as we now come through in 6th gear. We hit the curb here very violently, and that's it. Race over. That was very sudden, and I don't know if it's because I had overtake mode on, and it just didn't, with the extra power, it couldn't handle that curb. I don't know, I'd taken that curb all weekend, it was fine, and yeah, just as soon as I touched that curb, it got blown up. So that was very unfortunate. Lost the back of the car straight in the wall. I couldn't do anything to save it. That was gone as soon as I touched that curb. So yeah, big mistake by me there, leaving overtake mode on and using the amount of curb I did. So That's really disappointing because I think we could have definitely scored points today on that alternate strategy we were running. So forced to retire here. Not the way we wanted to start this Grand Prix, start our season, start our career with a new team. So that's really unfortunate.
Fantastic victory here at Albert Park. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. With that brilliant result, Sebastian Vettel secures top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Lance Stroll certainly put in an impressive performance today. No doubt his team and fans are extremely proud.
It's time to check out the Constructors' standings. Ferrari take the lead at the top of the table.
I know that's at odds with the official decision, but I think they deserve some recognition on a day where both of these drivers are at the top of their game.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
So that was the Grand Prix. Unfortunately, guys, cut short due to my accident. But Sebastian Vettel has won the Grand Prix. Verstappen second. Hubert finished down in 16th place. So really disappointing. And yeah, there's the standings. That's the same as the results of the race. Valtteri Bottas actually ended up finishing 4th. So good fight back from him, which you would expect in a Mercedes car. And this is a new team acclaim screen, which is you can see we've leveled up as a team to level 2, and each driver as well has their own level. You see from our accident, that's actually cost us 50k in cash, so quite a bit of repair. So we're going to be careful actually in future races to not crash, and especially in practice. I sometimes have accidents in practice just testing the limits of the car. So maybe I can't do that as often this year. Just so I don't have to pay money, because that's money that we now can't invest into the car and into the facilities. So that's a good little feature into the game actually. That's cost us $50k, and that's really unfortunate. But there's it is what it is, and we'll have to move on to the next race in Bahrain. Points thrown down the drain, maybe 1 point, maybe 2 points at max, but still, nonetheless, every point's going to matter this year for us as a team. So. Coming here, I think we'll just make some upgrades. Gearbox durability has always been important in this year's in these F1 games. You make an upgrade, and then as early as we can, so we don't have to deal with reliability issues by the time we get to like round 6, because these gearboxes have to last 6 races. So that's the plan there. Chassis department, we can't really make an upgrade at this point in time, so we're gonna have to wait on that, because they have these little question marks here, so we have to unlock those. I don't know if that's through upgrading the facility or what. Could make a power upgrade if we wanted to, but you can see we can make 3 upgrades, and then these trees are all very interesting to see how they're set out. I'm not sure if everybody's is the same or everyone's is different. I like the look of our aerodynamic tree. It looks like it. We can get a lot of upgrades on the car, and we're the second worst for aero, so it's going to be a focus point, I think, early in the season. Chassis department is looking pretty good. So with the Mercedes engine, we're probably mid-table in terms of engine power, because we're better than the Renault and Honda engines. So that's not going to be an issue. I think we're going to focus on getting our aerodynamics department better on the car, and yeah, that should be all very well, but it's a quick turnaround for Bahrain, which is the next weekend, so there's not a lot of time to do any activities here, but we can do a 2-day activity here to slot in before we have to go to Bahrain. So anyway, guys, we'll advance to the next.
Continue to increase our acclaim, more potential partners become willing to work with us. We can now approach an additional sponsor from the corporate tab.
So we have an additional sponsor we can get on the car, so that will hopefully help involve our revenue. And just having a look, achieve, and they have a weekly goal and a bonus, and then they have an objective to complete here. Atlantic, this Atlantic one looks alright. To complete 75 laps, it's a good weekly income, a good bonus. Completing 75 laps between 2 cars over a race weekend is probably not that difficult. It's pretty much the race. Like if you take Melbourne, between me and Hubert, that's a 58 laps. I do about 10 laps over the course of practice, a couple laps in qualifying, add Hubert's laps of practice. We can probably do 75 laps. It'd probably be only trickier at a place like Spa, but I'd probably, you'd make sure you just do some extra laps if you had to, just to make sure you get those laps done. Looking at these other ones here though, doesn't look as attractive as this Atlantic option, so I think we'll put that on the car, and hopefully we can quite comfortably complete 75 laps in practice. It might be places like Spa, honestly, where it's only a 22 lap race and 44 laps between me and Hubert in the race, where you'd have to make up those other 30 laps. But anyway, that's quite intriguing. So that's our first secondary sponsor on the car, and yeah, we'll head into Bahrain, hopefully looking for a much better performance. But if you enjoyed the video, guys, please leave a like. That helps out the channel. Spread it to your friends, so we can, make more content here. Plenty more content. Subscribe if you're new, and there'll be plenty more My Team content on the channel. I'm also going to change, actually, real quick, the logo, and what I'm going to do is the background, that blue, I'm going to put it to black, and the black little line, I'm going to change that to blue, because I didn't like how it looked on the logo, because the shirts are blue, so that was just blending in. I just didn't like it. I think I'll like this a little bit more, having the black stand out on the shirt, so it just brings it out the logo a little bit more. So yeah, that's the reason for changing that. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. But yeah, I'll also, league racing won't be starting up for a few, and there's like an evaluation that's going to be done in a couple of weeks, so that probably won't be starting until next month. I'll try and bring some online lobbies if I get around to it at some point in the near future as well. That could look very good. But hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys for the next video at the Bahrain Grand Prix, where hopefully we can get a better result. Until then, goodbye.